A superpower's army was outsmarted, outfought, and outpaced by the nation it swore to crush in days. Fuel shortages, dead generals, and a war nobody in Moscow saw failing. A phantom welcome that never came. An airport raid that unraveled instantly. A radio signal that gave away the war. And the biggest blunder didn't happen on the battlefield at all.
Number 1. The Phantom Welcome. The intelligence failure of the FSB. Before the tanks even rolled in, Russia's spies had already set a trap for their own boss. The FSB, Russia's top intelligence agency, spent months telling Putin exactly what he wanted to hear, instead of the truth. They said Ukrainians were tired, weak, and ready to give up without a fight. Some spies even claimed they had secretly paid off Ukrainian officials who would help Russian troops take over quietly. None of it was real. It was based on fake polls and made-up reports designed to please the Kremlin, not inform it. So when Russian soldiers crossed the border, expecting flowers, hugs, and open doors, they instead found locked gates, angry civilians, and soldiers ready to defend every street. This wasn't just bad luck. It was a total collapse of honest reporting inside Russia's own government. When a leader only hears good news, even when the news is false, he ends up making decisions based on a fantasy. And that fantasy was about to cost Russia dearly in ways no one back in Moscow had prepared for.
Number 2. Decapitation without preparation. The Hostomel Airport debacle. In the very first hours of the war, Russia tried something bold, almost reckless. Elite paratroopers, some of the best soldiers Russia had, were dropped near Hostomel Airport, just outside Kyiv. The plan was simple on paper. Grab the airport fast, fly in heavy tanks and reinforcements, and march straight into the capital before Ukraine could react. It looked like a knockout blow. But there was one massive problem. Nobody cleared the skies first. Russian jets hadn't taken control of the airspace, and Ukrainian defenders were still very much alive and fighting back hard. These elite troops, dropped in without armored support or real backup, suddenly found themselves alone, surrounded, and cut off from help. What was supposed to be a lightning-fast surprise attack turned into a desperate, bloody stand. The airport changed hands more than once, but Russia's dream of taking Kyiv in days died right there on that tarmac. It was one of the first signs that this war would not go according to plan, and it wouldn't be the last.
Number 3. The logistical nightmare. The 40-mile traffic jam. Wars aren't just won with tanks and soldiers. They're won with fuel, food, and supplies reaching the right place at the right time. Russia forgot that. Just days into the invasion, a Russian convoy stretching nearly 40 miles long came to a complete stop north of Kyiv. Vehicles ran out of fuel. Trucks broke down with no spare tires to fix them. Some reportedly stolen and sold off due to corruption long before the war even began. Soldiers sat trapped in a giant traffic jam, unable to move forward or back, turning what should have been a fast strike force into an easy target. Ukrainian forces picked off vehicles one by one while the convoy sat helpless. This wasn't bad weather or bad luck. It was decades of outdated planning colliding with modern warfare. An army can have the fanciest weapons in the world, but if the trucks carrying fuel can't move, none of it matters. Russia learned this lesson in the worst possible way, broadcast for the entire world to see through satellite images.
Number 4. Operational incoherence. The lack of a unified command structure. Imagine a football team where 4 different coaches are shouting different plays at the same time, and none of them are talking to each other. That's basically what happened inside the Russian military. Russia attacked Ukraine from multiple directions all at once, north, east, and south, but incredibly, there was no single commander in charge of the whole operation for months. Different military regions acted like separate teams, competing instead of cooperating. On top of that, private mercenary groups like Wagner were operating alongside regular soldiers, often clashing over strategy and credit. This chaos led to confused orders, wasted resources, and even friendly fire incidents where Russian units accidentally attacked each other. Meanwhile, Ukraine was doing the opposite. giving local commanders freedom to make smart, fast decisions on the ground while still following one clear overall strategy. A disorganized giant swinging wildly will always struggle against a smaller, coordinated opponent who knows exactly what they're doing. This command chaos haunted Russia's campaign for months.
Number 5. Electronic suicide, radio and cellular security failures. Here's something almost unbelievable. Some of Russia's own generals were tracked down and killed, partly because of cell phone signals. Russia had a secure communication system called ERA, designed specifically so military officers could talk without being tracked. There was just one problem. It relied on cell towers, and Russia's own bombs had already destroyed many of those towers inside Ukraine. With their secure system useless, soldiers and even high-ranking officers switched to regular walkie-talkies and, unbelievably, local Ukrainian SIM cards to communicate. The issue? Ukrainian intelligence could listen in and pinpoint exact locations just by tracking these signals. Officers were essentially broadcasting their own coordinates to the enemy. This directly contributed to Russia losing an unusually high number of generals early in the war, a rare occurrence in modern warfare. It's a chilling reminder that even the most powerful armies can be undone by simple technical failures. In this case, outdated infrastructure and corruption cost Russia.
Number 6. Blind skies, the failure to secure air superiority. Almost every military expert around the world expected the same thing. Russia's massive air force would crush Ukraine's defenses within the first 3 days. It didn't happen. Despite having far more jets, missiles, and aircraft, Russia never managed to fully knock out Ukraine's air defense systems. Complicated missions meant to destroy enemy radar and missile launchers were poorly coordinated, leaving mobile Ukrainian air defense units very much alive and dangerous. Because the skies were never truly cleared, Russian jets couldn't fly safely at normal altitudes. Instead, pilots were forced to fly low to avoid radar, but flying low put them directly in range of shoulder-fired missiles that ordinary soldiers could carry and launch. Expensive, advanced fighter jets were being shot down by weapons a single person could carry on their back. Without control of the skies, Russian ground troops below had no real protection from above, leaving them exposed on open battlefields. This failure alone reshaped the entire direction of the war in ways Moscow never anticipated.
Number 7. Strategic overreach, turning the war existential and uniting NATO. Perhaps Russia's biggest mistake wasn't on the battlefield at all. It happened in the words used to justify the war. Instead of framing this as a limited conflict, Russian leadership described it as an all-or-nothing mission to erase Ukrainian identity entirely, using extreme language about denazifying the country. This left absolutely no room for peace talks or a graceful exit. The effect was the opposite of what Russia wanted. Ukrainian citizens, now facing an existential threat to their very existence as a nation, fought back with even greater determination. Meanwhile, countries around the world that were once divided suddenly found common ground, uniting in support of Ukraine. Even nations like Finland and Sweden, which had stayed neutral for decades and avoided joining military alliances, decided the threat was serious enough to join NATO. Russia's original goal was reportedly to weaken NATO and prevent its expansion. Instead, the alliance grew stronger and larger than ever before. In trying to erase a nation, Russia may have accidentally united an entire continent against itself.
7 mistakes. 1 war. A superpower humbled by its own arrogance. These Russian military mistakes in Ukraine weren't random accidents. They were the direct result of broken intelligence, shattered logistics, and a leadership too afraid to hear the truth. When people ask why Russia failed in Ukraine, the answer isn't one single failure. It's all 7, stacked together. From Putin's invasion mistakes to the war blunders that followed, this is the real story behind the headlines. This is Ukraine War Analysis 2026, the Russian invasion mistakes explained, piece by piece, mistake by mistake.